Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different for me. I was asked after I did a video on the Bell & Howell Zoom-matic, I was asked by a viewer if I had any know-how with taking the lenses apart, and I don't, but I thought I would take one of these. I got one real cheap, so and it's what we in the business would call a piece of shit. Nothing about this thing works, so I figured this was a good donor to try my luck and see what happens. So since I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just going to start taking the screws out of it and see what happens. And this has I don't know what lens it is. It's f1.8 zoom lens, Veramat. This is a 414, but only a 414. So right away, checking my camera. Right away I start with 3 screws around the trim ring on the front. Now I don't know what kind of fasteners these are. An up close look shows it to have the appearance of a Phillips, but it's not a Phillips. And I'm not sure if that's Japanese industrial standard or if it's just a peculiar cross driver that was used for these things back in the day. I don't know. I've got a Phillips that is working, although it is not the right driver. So I'm going to take, I've already loosened them up, I'm going to take these 3 screws out and put them somewhere. Probably doesn't really matter, since I have no intention of putting this camera back together. There's one, and it's got a pointed end on the inside. Take out the second one, and then the third one. We're going to see what that does for us here. It does not what I hoped it would. It appears that this just adjusts the lens focusing scale. So I haven't really done anything. Hold on. So with those 3 screws out and this loose, this center outer lens combo simply unscrews. And this is still captive. So I'm assuming that this ring with its screws would have prevented this from coming out. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Moving right along, we can now see the zoom lens inside working. So I think what I will do is take this handle off. Again, as I say, moving blindly forward, because I do not know anything about these, and I can't find anything online. At least I haven't yet. how they're put together. So there's that. That exposes another fastener. So we're just going to go ahead and take that out. And this one of those screws in the handle goes down into the center of that. Alright, you won't be able to see it. The screw is there. It's slotted with a threaded hole in the center. There's also two others in the body, top and bottom, that have sprung pins inside of them. As I said, we're just going to go ahead here and see what happens. That comes out. I'm sure you can't see that. Still nothing seems loose, although I can see something turning on the inside. So now these have that sprung pin. I've got to press the pin in and engage the slot like that with this zoom at its highest point. Something else came out like that. Okay, so there's the threaded, whatever it is, and a plunger. I'm sorry, I know you can't really see this with the crappy camera I have, but there's a plunger that goes inside of that screw, and I'll bet you laying here somewhere is a teeny little spring. Let's see if there's one on this side. And there it is, with its teeny little spring. If you can see that. I'll set that aside. So I'm wondering if that spring is still inside this hole. I don't see it laying on the bench here. Sure enough, there's that spring. If that helps at all. See if that makes any difference. It apparently does not. This must be, I don't know, adjustment screws. And I don't see any other fasteners in the body of this thing. So I guess just gonna have to, oh, there's another one. That one's buried up in there. I can't get to it. Alright, hold on. Alright, we've gotten nowhere so far. So I guess the next step is to dive in deeper. I don't have anything to lose with this camera. exposes a couple of screws, a couple of voids, an area here, which is probably for some adjustment. I think what I'm going to do is actually take the mechanical guts out of it. Alright, so in we go. Turn the crank handle backwards. Yeah, this one's been soaked. That's what the trouble is. And I'm just going to whiz. I say whiz. I'm going to go through it. Trying to get the guts out of this thing quickly. Take this gadget out of here. So that comes up. There's a spring in there too. So just take that apart as a piece. Get this out of there, you can take this screw head on. Just in case you should ever want to put one of these stinking things back together. And that brings out this thing, this thing, and then we take these 3 screws out that hold the metal plate in place, and this, you can see there's a little dog that grabs the film and pulls it through. Try and keep my hands out of the way here. 2, 3. There comes, whoa, all that. Oh gosh, I wonder where that went. Oh yeah, look at the rust. That is solid. That is not gonna. I haven't done one of these in a while. I feel like I'm forgetting something. There's the guts. Wow, that is really messed up. Oh no, I bent the shutter. Alright. Again, moving right along. Get that out of the way. That exposes the back side. I'm not quite sure what that does for me, but I'm just going to keep taking screws out. Actually, let's loosen that one. There's 2 up front here. Ooh, these screws are going to fight me. Hold on. Okay, a little bit of progress. This screw from the inside and there's two screws here and here down inside. Viola, the front comes off. So you know what? I am just going to put these screws back in their holes because I won't remember. Not that it really matters. I won't remember where all these things went. You know what? You don't need to see it. Not exactly sure what that does for me. You can see some circuit board, the back side of a balance that has, I don't know what it's called, but it has a lot to do with it's connected to the aperture adjustment, speed adjustment. Alright, I'll spare you this and continue along and then come back. Okay, so this update, this screw, and behind the plate that was up here, this screw, we take those out. Oh, hands in the way again. Have to go left-handed. Let's just do it. There. And there you have that. All right. Let's see, what can you see from here? There. You can see well, you probably can't see, but I can see the aperture wings. I call them wings. And you can see this here, which is the adjustment between automatic and manual. The knob would be here, and you can see the two working. There's a circuit board, don't know yet what that does. Wiring. Here, the back side of the viewfinder. So it looks like if I take this apart, I can get to the back side. Oh, there's that funky filter. Looks like if I take this apart, I can get to the back side of everything that holds the lens together. Another update. You get it to this point, like I already showed, then take out. Screws are out already. There's a screw here, here, and here. You remove those three screws, there you have the back side of the lens. Now, I don't know how much good that does you, but it gets you there. These, I guess, can stay put for now. So there's the lens. Oops. And it works. There is a stub of a wire. So something here must act as kind of a rheostat. Oh, no. You know what that is? That's a cord. That is the busted cord that goes to the zoom in the eyepiece as you're looking through it, which would correspond with this piece of broken cord going up there. So from there, I don't know. I can't really see how this thing comes apart. It's a marvel of engineering, I would say. Here you can see the screws with the plunger. I don't know what they do. They must hold something into place, some delicate adjustment that I have since screwed up. I did notice, I put this back together, this inner lens, I screwed it back in, so for its alignment, which there's no way for me to recreate the adjustment the way it was before. But I did know it's only got 2 concentric threads. Now I've seen as many as 6 on the lens, focusing lens. So this, in my mind, without knowing what's right and what's not, you can either have it correct or 180 degrees off when you stick it back in. I'm guessing. I don't know that to be science. And then, of course, you would have to have it screwed in the correct amount to get the appropriate focus before you tighten up these 3 screws, which I have put back, and they are not in their right places. The only way I know for sure that it's not right, let's see, is that it goes this way. If you can see at the 6 feet, which is the shortest distance, I screw it the other way, and it doesn't go to infinity. It goes to about 20 feet. It lines up with that pin, which gives you the generic focus, but it's still out of whack because it won't go up to the infinity point. But I could probably get it close enough to use if you weren't fussy. Alright, so that's that in a nutshell. I've got all the parts here. I got very cool looking guts. Maybe I'll oil this thing up and see if I can get it to turn or something. Everything's pretty completely seized up. Alright, I'm not going to bore you with any more details. If you have any questions, you can, of course, try your luck with asking. I'll tell you right now, I probably won't have the answer because I just don't have enough technical knowledge. This is just me doing stuff. So, with that in mind, I'll see you next time. One last thing. As beat up as this thing has gotten wet, it's rusty, it's been badly stored. The observation is that the selenium cell has to be in this here, right in the very front piece. So it's not a hopeless idea that you could take this thing apart and replace components. I wouldn't dig into this. I tried it once, I did it wrong. And It's like super delicate. If you're a watch maker, I suppose you could do it. But my point is, watch, if you can see it, watch the aperture right there. Got a flashlight here. It's a little sticky, but if you can see that, it is reactive. So if I could clean this thing up, it would probably still work, at least the aperture adjustment. So that information and $6 will buy you a coffee at Starbucks.